The skyline of Manhattan gleams through floor-to-ceiling windows. The apartment is a masterpiece of minimalist, cold, expensive architecture. Ethan Vance stands at the glass, a glass of $500 scotch in hand. He looks immaculate in a tailored suit. Across the room, Clara stands next to two packed suitcases. Her eyes are tired, stripped of the anger that used to live there. Only exhaustion remains. Ethan says without turning around that Clara is being dramatic, that it was just a dinner, a merger dinner, and she knows how important the Taylor account is. Clara replies that it was her father's funeral. Ethan finally turns around, his expression smooth and unbothered, stating that he sent a floral arrangement that cost more than most people's cars and paid for the premium catering, adding that he could not leave Wall Street because the market was bleeding. Clara lets out a soft, bitter laugh and tells him that he always thinks checkbooks replace presents, noting that he has not truly looked at her in 3 years and that she is not a wife to him anymore, just an asset he acquired early in his career that he no longer has time to manage. Ethan tells her to look around at the life he built for them. But Clara looks around and says that it is empty before grabbing her suitcase handles. Ethan warns her that if she walks out that door tonight, she should not expect a key when things get tough, because he does not do second chances. Clara looks at him with a gaze full of profound, devastating pity, telling him that she is not walking out because things are tough, but because she is tired of being lonely in a crowded room with him, before saying goodbye. She walks out, and the heavy oak door clicks shut. Ethan stares at the door for a beat, shrugs, and takes a sip of his scotch. He pulls out his phone, dials his business partner Marcus, and tells him that Clara left, that it is fine and there is less noise now, instructing him to prep the Tokyo data for tomorrow morning, because he will be in the office by 5. The next day on a high-intensity trading floor, men and women shout into headsets. Ethan walks through the floor like a king tracking his territory while Marcus walks briskly beside him with a tablet. Marcus mentions that legal processed the separation paperwork Clara's lawyer sent over, noting that they are not asking for much, just her personal assets in the upstate cabin, suggesting Ethan sign it and get it over with. Ethan tells legal to stall, stating he does not like giving up territory, even if it is a cabin he has not visited in a decade. Suddenly, Ethan stops mid-stride. A high-pitched metallic ringing sound fills his ears. The bustling sounds of the trading floor fade into a muffled underwater drone. Ethan blinks as the bright fluorescent lights overhead seem to stretch and distort into blinding white streaks. Marcus asks Ethan if he is good and mentions the Tokyo numbers. But Marcus's mouth is moving without any intelligible words, sounding only like distorted radio static. Ethan reaches out to grab the edge of a desk to steady himself, but his right hand misjudges the distance entirely, knocking over a cup of hot coffee that spills over documents. Ethan slurs slightly, saying he has to do something. Before the world tilts violently, his knees buckle, and he collapses heavily onto the polished floor as darkness closes in. Ethan wakes up in a hospital room to the steady, rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor, the sterile smell of antiseptic hitting him. Sitting in a chair near the window is Dr. Lawrence. Ethan tries to sit up, but a wave of intense vertigo hits him. He asks what happened, where his phone is, and says he has a market open in 2 hours. Dr. Lawrence tells him softly but firmly that he is not going anywhere near Wall Street today or anytime soon. Ethan defiantly says the doctor does not know who he is and demands he call his concierge doctor for an IV detox, saying he does not have time for a flu. Dr. Lawrence explains that it is not the flu, that they ran an MRI and a lumbar puncture while he was unconscious, and reveals that Ethan has an advanced, atypical presentation of a rapidly progressing neurological disease, stating that the degeneration is aggressive. Ethan freezes, the arrogance draining from his face and leaving him looking suddenly hollow. He demands they fix it, saying he does not care what the experimental treatment costs in Switzerland or Germany. Dr. Lawrence tells him with heavy solemnity that money cannot rewire a dying brain, and that there is no cure, warning him that within 3 months he will lose motor function and within 6 his cognitive abilities will degrade severely, advising him to put his affairs in order and asking if he has family to make medical decisions when he can no longer speak. Ethan's breath hitches and he opens his mouth to say a name, but realizes with a sudden, violent stab of panic that there is no one, stammering that his business partner, Marcus, could do it. Dr. Lawrence notes that a business partner is not a legal healthcare proxy and asks if he is married. Ethan looks out the window at the gray New York sky and whispers that he is alone. 2 weeks later, the penthouse apartment is darker, with the blinds drawn. Ethan sits in a mechanized wheelchair, his right arm hanging limp at his side, his face pale with dark circles carved deep under his eyes. The door opens and Marcus walks in, carrying a stack of corporate folders, looking uncomfortable as he stands near the door, refusing to sit down. Ethan speaks slowly, his voice slightly thick, asking Marcus if they closed the logistics acquisition. Marcus sighs, rubbing the back of his neck, and tells Ethan that the board held an emergency session yesterday. Ethan gets angry, saying they cannot do that without him since he owns 40% of the voting shares. Marcus points out that Ethan missed 3 major client calls this week because he could not get out of bed, causing the clients to panic, so the board triggered the medical incapacity clause in the partnership agreement and bought out his shares at current market valuation. Ethan stares at his lifelong friend, utterly paralyzed, asking how he could let them do this when they started the firm in a basement. Marcus says Ethan built a machine that does not care if its creator is rusting out, adding that he is sorry and that the wire transfer for the buyout will hit his account tomorrow. Marcus places the folders on the kitchen island without looking Ethan in the eye, offering to have his assistant look up top-tier residential nursing facilities in Connecticut before telling him to take care of himself and leaving. The silence that settles into the penthouse is suffocating. Ethan looks at the massive, empty space and realizes his money can buy everything except a human hand to hold his when the lights go out. He looks at his phone on the table and, with great agonizing effort using his left hand, drags the phone toward himself. He scrolls past hundreds of corporate contacts until he finds one name: Clara. He stares at it for an hour before pressing call. It goes straight to voicemail. With his voice cracking and tears spilling over, Ethan leaves a message saying it is him, acknowledging he does not deserve a minute of her time, but confessing that he is really sick and really scared, begging her to respond. The next morning, Ethan is slumped in his wheelchair, having slept fitfully in the living room. The sound of a key turning in the lock startles him. The door opens and Clara walks in, wearing simple medical scrubs and a heavy trench coat instead of her elegant dinner dresses. She looks at Ethan, seeing his limp arm and his sunken cheeks, her eyes softening with deep, instinctive empathy. Ethan whispers that she came. Clara walks over, puts her bag down, and explains that Dr. Lawrence works at her hospital system and called her after seeing her name on his old emergency contact file. She asks why he did not tell her sooner. Ethan confesses it was because he was an arrogant bastard who thought he could buy his way out of a terminal diagnosis, and because he treated her like garbage when he was on top of the world, asking why she would come back to see him crawl. Clara kneels in front of his wheelchair, takes his cold, unresponsive right hand in both of her warm hands, and tells him that when they stood at that altar 12 years ago, she did not vow to love his hedge fund or his penthouse. She vowed to love him, and even if he forgot who he was under all that gold, she never did. Ethan breaks down completely, sobbing into her shoulder as his armor is entirely gone. 3 months later, the chaotic noise of New York City is completely gone, replaced by the gentle rustling of pine trees and the sound of a nearby flowing river upstate. The small rustic wooden cabin is cozy, with smoke drifting from the chimney. On the porch, Ethan sits in a comfortable armchair, wrapped in a warm blanket. His physical condition has deteriorated further. His speech is now a whisper and he can barely move, yet his face looks more peaceful and alive than it ever did in his multi-million-dollar office. Clara emerges from the cabin, carrying 2 mugs of hot tea and sits on the wooden porch steps, right next to his chair, leaning her head against his knee. Ethan looks down at her, his eyes filled with a profound, radiant devotion. He speaks slowly, whispering with effort, telling her that he spent 35 years chasing shadows, thinking power was safety and independence was strength. Clara looks up at him, smiling softly and tracing circles on his hand, asking what he thinks now. Ethan replies that he thinks he was a multi-billionaire who was completely bankrupt. But now, when he has absolutely nothing left, with her there, he is the richest man alive. Clara leans up and kisses his forehead gently, telling him they have today and tomorrow, that they are not counting the days anymore, just making the days count. Ethan smiles a genuine, beautiful, unburdened smile, looking out over the golden sunset painting the mountain range, stretching his functional left hand out to intertwine his fingers tightly with hers as they sit together in the quiet warmth, watching the sun dip below the horizon.